All right, Coach, tough night at the office. It started on the defensive end. Devin Booker went off, and then just no shots seemed to be falling. It was just a really tough combo.
Yeah, it was. Not our best night on either side of the ball. Defensively, just didn't think that they felt us all game. They played pretty comfortable, and give them credit. They came in and they dominated the game.
Offensively, did you feel like it was just a matter of shots that you guys normally make just weren't going down? What'd you see on that end?
I think it was a combination of we missed some shots, but they put their hands on us, was physical, denied us, tried to take us out of some of our offense. And, you know, when teams are physical with us, we have a tendency to get stagnant. And that's when you got to play with more force, more execution, more communication on the defensive end. And they kind of knocked us on our heels early. And then once they did, you know, it was just hard for us to get back into a rhythm.
Yeah, and then, you know, with what Devin did specifically, I mean, was that just a lot of tough shot making? I mean, what if anything, could you guys have done to make it more difficult on him, you think?
Well, he's got to feel us from the start and give him credit. Heck of a scorer. He had a terrific game, but we have to be better. We know it. Our guys in the locker room know it. We're okay with tough shots, but he got some easy ones too. He got some easy baskets in transition. And when a guy has it going like that, you can't give him anything easy. And, you know, a part of it was him, and he's talented. He can score. And some of it was us just not collectively playing with the physicality that it takes to take a score like that away.
And even during the moments when y'all were able to get the ball out of his hands, they were able to kind of get it to the middle of the floor and spray it out to the shooters. I guess how much of that was, like you talked about, just them not feeling y'all on defense or not being able to execute overall on defense?
A lot of it is, you know, we threw different looks at them, but even when we did, our rotations weren't clean on the backside. And so, you know, we need to go back to watching some film on it, and we'll have a day off tomorrow and come back and just be better. Tonight was not a great night on our part, and we got to own that and look at it and try to see where we can improve.
Obviously, the threes were a big part of the win a couple of nights ago. The first half, you guys go 3 of 20. How much of that were the threes y'all were taking, or how much of it was just, you know, shots not falling?
Say that again.
How much of it was the threes y'all were taking versus just shots not falling?
I give them some credit for sure. Like I said, I thought that they knocked us on our heels, and some of the shots that we normally would make, we were a little hesitant. Just across the board, all of our guys were. And, you know, some shots just didn't fall as well. So it was a combination.
Yeah, well, in addition to that shot selection question, what about Zion and Jonas? They seemed to have it going in the first half. Were you happy that they got enough touches and shots?
Yeah, I thought they played well. Both of those guys played well. But we just didn't play well enough as a team to win the game. And that's what matters to our group is even when we have individual performances that are great, which we want, you know, we want that to contribute to wins. And tonight, collectively, all of us, you know, wasn't our best night.
Were you surprised that the team wasn't able to make a run at all in the second half?
I don't know if it's a surprise. It's just, you know, we have to come out with the mindset that we are going to make a run. And every time we got a little momentum, they hit some big shots on us.
Really just stepping out, looking at the big picture a little bit, you're entering the second half of the season now. One of the positives that you guys have had is your main guys have been mostly available. Your starting group this is the most you've had them since you've been here. They have struggled a little bit as a unit. Just how would you analyze why they're facing those struggles, particularly on the defensive end?
That's exactly what it is. That group has to be committed to defending. That's where their biggest struggles are. We've talked about it and had honest discussions about it. And that's the challenge. That's the challenge for them. For us as a coaching staff is to try to put them in a position where we can be better defensively. They can score, but we got to guard.
In like moving forward, if that's something that doesn't improve to your satisfaction, is there a threshold where you guys would consider like shaking things up with that group and just trying something different new?
Possibly, but that'll be a discussion, a private discussion that happens later if that's the case, for sure.
Coach, you talked about how they came out and knocked you on your heels, and that seems to have been a theme when it comes to teams punching you in the mouth first and not being able to punch back. What is the consistency that happens in those moments?
we stopped executing on both ends of the floor. Whenever we, not whenever, but there's been times where we played physical teams, and when they take us out of our offense and things aren't flowing easily for us, there's been some tendencies for us to get stagnant. And the message to our team is that those are the moments where we have to play with more force, continue to trust, share the ball, and continue to communicate and execute our game plan defensively. And tonight, we didn't do that at a high enough level to win the game. Okay, thank you. Yep.
It was just a great night for you guys shooting the ball tonight. You guys cooled off a little bit. Just what did you see overall offensively?
Offensively, I feel like it was 50-50 for us tonight. I feel like we got a lot of good looks where the shots weren't falling, but at the same time, the Suns were very physical, and they kind of got us out of some of our sets. They played great defense tonight.
Yeah, did you feel like them, like really getting up and guarding y'all, I guess kind of like reduced ball movement, body movement, those type of things?
I would say so. Yes, sir.
And Willie mentioned a few times this year where a team kind of starts off physical against y'all early, and it kind of takes y'all out of y'all rhythm. I guess what do you want to see as a response when teams are kind of using that as the game plan against you?
You got to match it. You got to match it to bring more physicality. I mean, coach, that's not on coach. Like, coach can only do so much from the sideline. Like, as players, we just got to either look at your matchup and look at your teammates and go, nah, we're going to match it. If the ref called a foul, the ref called a foul, but we got to match that physicality.
I guess with the night Book ended up having tonight, how much of that was just him making a bunch of tough shots? How much of that was defensively, y'all not getting into him and bringing that physicality? I guess, what's your assessment?
Man, I would say that was like 70% him just hitting tough shots. I mean, that's what great players do. He had a lot of tough shots where a defender was right there, but he just still hit it. And then there were other times where, like when he was in transition or early in the game, he's just getting early layups. That's stuff that we can control and we can take away. But the tough shots, he just made.
See, typically when you guys have started slow, you've at least at some point bounced back or gone on a run. Why weren't you guys able to find anything tonight?
I think we had a moment where we cut the lead under 20, but I mean, they responded. They responded with a three or a big shot.
This first half of the season is kind of the most you've been able to play all your starters together, the last few years. Just heading into the second half of the season, how do you think that unit can improve moving forward? It seems like there's still a little bit of footing to be found, maybe on the defensive end.
I feel like offense, we're straight. We've been figuring it out, but like you said, I think it's just defensively. It's just the small nuances, whether it's collectively boxing out. I know there are a lot of things that I can do better. Just got to go watch the film, but as a unit, we just gotta be better overall defensively.
Do you think it's a lack of playing together type thing? Like you're still finding that chemistry, more of or like a mentality thing? Like, hey, we just
50-50, both mentality and chemistry.
Z, do you feel like there's a commonality between some of these recent kind of bad losses, like tonight, maybe the Clippers, against teams that are experienced playoff hopefuls, like not even playoff hopefuls, but even finals hopefuls?
I think when you look at the game prior, both games, blowout wins. And I think we that's when our age really shows. We'll have a blowout win, come in the next day or the next game and not be as locked in, thinking that we're going to be able to repeat the same thing when the NBA is not like that. It's 82 games. You can win by 30 one night and then come in the next day and lose by 30. It's just the level of focus that you got to have, and we just didn't have that tonight. All right, you guys have a great night.
one of the things that Willie mentioned, he's basically like, when other teams get physical, sometimes that for y'all can mean not running, the offense in the way that he would like to see. Just what are your thoughts on kind of that assessment?
I thought that we just get stops, and it was just walking the ball up for a quarter and a half, giving up all those points in the first half. I think it hurt us. And they were not as physical as some of the teams we played. They obviously are a good team, and they're skilled and all those things. But, I think they're not like Memphis and some of those teams. They denied B.I. some trap. But outside of Front and Z and, kind of White and them, I didn't think they were that physical. But we got to do a better job of executing the half court and being a better half court team in those situations. But I think coming into tonight, we was top 7 offense in the half court. So not too worried about it. We shot the ball. No, horribly tonight. I think we hit 10 out of 43s. I was 1 for 7. So that's a part of it. The other part of it is, being better at rotations, getting the ball at Book's hands, and then shooter on the weak side. So it's a little difficult. But, credit them. They played a good game. They beat us, and they deserve to win tonight.
Yeah, you guys had a great shooting night Wednesday. Did you feel like tonight was missing open shots? What did you feel like it was?
Yeah, same looks that we get every night. We just didn't make them, and I think that's a credit to them. They did a good job of closing out sometimes, and sometimes we just missed open shots. But they made us pay on the offensive end by, being aggressive, Book obviously getting going. And then we were in scramble mode a lot of times trying to rotate out of some of those traps, and they did a good job of taking advantage.
And with the night Book ended up having, how much of that was just him just hitting a bunch of crazy shots versus, I guess, y'all not doing enough defensively?
Both. He's good. He's going to score. We just got to try to make it difficult. Some of those shots, nothing you can do about it. But, even in the first quarter, I go under on the screen. He raises up, hits a 3. He's starting to feel good. Then he gets downhill, gets to the free throw line. So it's the little stuff you got to try to take away because he's going to score anyway, but you want to make it as difficult as possible. But once he gets rolling, he's pump fake, fading away. There's not much you can do about that. But we got to try to make it as difficult as possible and understand that, when he's passing to KD, who's one of the best scorers to ever play the game, and then he's got to swing to Brad or Grayson, who's 48% from 3. So it's a tough rotation out of that throughout the game.
And you mentioned there are going to be certain situations where teams are making shots and it's forcing y'all to walk the ball up and execute in half court. What do you want to see just to be better in those moments when you have to execute?
Spacing is better. We're a little crowded at times, bringing it up one side. So spacing got to be better. Trying to get the ball from one side to the other. And if the guys deny, we got to get into second side action or wave them through. So we got to get better at that.
And then, CJ, you've had 3 recent losses the team has by double digits to Denver, LA Clippers, and then tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like there's a certain level you guys still need to get to before you can maybe beat one of these teams like this tonight?
I don't know what level. we top 5 or 6 in the West. Still counts as one loss, whether you lose by 1 or 15. But it's obvious that some nights we look really good and some nights we don't. So the consistency's got to get better. But I think over a 20-game sample, we're playing well. And sometimes you have nights like this where you don't make shots, and I think that affects you at the defensive end, and you can't allow that to happen. But all in all, we've lost to some good teams, and that's going to happen throughout the season.
CJ, you guys have often bounced back too, right, when you've gone off to a slow start. What do you think was the biggest reason preventing you guys making a run tonight?
I don't know. If I had to answer, maybe we would have been better, but I really don't know. Just credit them for playing a good game. Sometimes it's not as bad as you think it is. It's just the other team played well and you didn't.
Thanks, CJ.
Thanks, sir. Yep. Ah, wow,